Have you ever felt like the world had moved on, and you had been left behind? Have you ever woken up on a Sunday and thought, why get up? For who? That's how Marcelo felt. After 50, alone at home, looking at the empty bed and the silence that screamed louder than any noise. And the worst part wasn't even the loneliness. The worst was that thought that came softly but hurt like a knife. Will I die alone? And maybe you on the other side have thought about this too. Maybe you think that the time for love has passed, that your heart has grown tired, that no one will look at you with affection, with respect, with truth anymore. But let me tell you something. It's not over. Not yet. Today, you'll see Marcelo's story. A man like you and me. He also thought it was too late, but he discovered something that can change everything, and I'm going to show you in this video. Stay with me until the end, because if you leave this video for later, you might be missing out on the chance to turn your life around before it's really too late. If this story has already started to move you, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about new beginnings, love after 50, and everything that life can still offer, even when it seems too late. So stay with us. First, the silent void. You know, that kind of silence that isn't just the absence of sound, but the absence of life. It was just another Sunday. I woke up early out of habit. The house was quiet, as always. I opened the living room window, and the sun was already hitting the wall with that glow that seems beautiful. But that day, it only reinforced how still everything there was. I put the coffee on to brew. The smell wafted up, and for a second, it almost brought back a good memory. But then I realized there was no one else to invite to the table. There was no good morning, no sleepy laugh, no question about how I slept. It was just me, and the clock on the wall marking each second of that emptiness. I sat on the sofa, cup in hand, and stayed there, looking at the bookshelf full of books that no one was leafing through anymore, the old photos with faces that were already distant, and the sound, not of a song, but of that unbearable ticking, as if each second said, "Time is passing, Marcelo, and you are being left behind." It was at that moment that the thought came, subtle but heavy. Is there still room for love after 50? Or had that part of life already closed its doors to me? Because the truth is that, after a certain age, we start to believe that love is something for younger people. That these stories about butterflies in the stomach, racing hearts and couples' plans are only for those who are just starting out. But what if it isn't? What if there is still someone out there, feeling the same silence as me? Waiting for a regular guy like me to share a coffee, a conversation life? I spent days with this thought hammering away. But everything started to change after an unpretentious conversation with an old friend. One of those things that we almost ignore, but that plants a seed inside us. Question for you. Have you ever had this feeling that life has paused, and that maybe what's missing inside you is love too? Second, the weight of loneliness after 50. Loneliness, when it arrives slowly, almost seems normal. We get used to having a meal for one, to the good night that never comes, to the couch that is too big for just one body. But there comes a time when it weighs differently. I remember a specific day. I woke up on a Saturday without an alarm clock. The house was so silent that even the sound of the kettle boiling seemed too loud to me. I went to the porch, sat in the rocking chair that my ex-wife loved, and stayed there, staring into space. It was as if everything was alive out there. The neighbors laughing in the yard, the cars passing by, the wind moving the trees. And me, still, breathing by inertia, with that tightness in my chest that doesn't hurt like a headache, but consumes like a silent leak. The children grew up, each one went their own way. Sure, they send messages from time to time, but it's different. Their routine now revolves around other priorities, and I found myself here, trying to fit into a space that no longer belongs to me. Sometimes my phone vibrates and my heart skips a beat, but when I see that it's just a notification from a bank or an advertisement, it starts beating again in time with disappointment. And then the thought comes, is this how it's going to be from now on? Just me by myself until the end. I wasn't missing someone specific. I was missing having someone. To talk without rushing. To hear a voice that cares. To feel that, even after everything I've been through, there's still room for a new story. Question for you. Have you ever felt that loneliness is heavier than usual? As if silence had become part of your routine too? Third, curiosity about apps. The truth is that I've never been much of a tech person. Cell phones have always been more for making calls and texting. That basic stuff. But over coffee with an old friend, the kind you haven't seen in years, the conversation took an unexpected turn. It was a cold afternoon, and we met at a simple bakery in the neighborhood. A corner table, the smell of freshly baked bread, a cup with coffee marks on the rim. We were talking about life, about how our kids are growing up, about how everything has changed. And then he said, as if he were making small talk, "Marcelo, why don't you join one of those dating apps? There are lots of cool women our age looking for company." I choked on my sip of coffee. I looked at him as if he had mentioned climbing Everest. "Are you crazy? I can barely send messages on WhatsApp, let alone flirt on an app." He laughed, patted me on the shoulder and said, "Well, isn't that where the new way of meeting people lies? You won't know if you don't try." I laughed too, but the seed had already been planted. I went home with that thought in my head. I went to do my things, but every now and then, he would come back. When it was time to sleep, I lay down and stared at the ceiling, as if he could answer me. What if? What if this works? What if there's someone on the other side of the screen, as lost as I am, but also wanting to start over? The next day, without telling anyone, I downloaded the app. I felt like a teenager secretly checking my phone, afraid of someone seeing. But there, in that shy curiosity, something inside me started to wake up. Question for you. Have you ever thought about trying an app, but were afraid of looking ridiculous, or of not knowing where to start? First steps. I confess, I was lost at first. The app asked for a photo. I looked at my phone and only found two that were good. One of me fishing, the other at a barbecue. I chose the one of the fishing. At least I was smiling. Then it asked for a sentence about me. I wrote, "I am a calm man who likes freshly brewed coffee and good conversation." Profile ready. Now I just had to wait, and the messages started arriving. One of them said, "I loved your smile in the fishing photo. I also love nature." I felt my heart race. It wasn't just young people looking for love. It was people like me wanting something real. Now answer me. What do you think your profile would say about you if you decided to try? Fifth, the good side and the dangerous side. Now let me be honest. Not everything there is pretty. There are nice people, yes. But there are also those who just want to play with feelings. There was a woman who was already talking about money by the third message. And then I realized, I have to be smart. But then Anna came along. A simple message. "Marcelo, I just want someone to have a coffee with and laugh about life." It was different. True. The key is to go in with an open heart, but with your head on straight. And you, are you ready to open your heart, but without losing your lucidity? Sixth, is it worth it? You ask me, Marcelo, is it worth it? I tell you, it is. But take it easy. Don't go in thinking you're going to find the love of your life in 2 days. Go in with a calm heart. There are a lot of good people there. People who also just want peace, laughter, and someone to share the end of the afternoon with. I didn't want soap opera passion anymore. I just wanted someone to walk with. And I discovered that, when we are true, life gives back. Tell me, what are you really looking for today? Love or peace? Or both together? Seventh, there's still time. My friend, life doesn't end when we turn 50, 60, 70. The heart doesn't retire. The desire to love is still here, beating in our chest. We've been through so much, but as long as we're breathing, there's still time. There's time to start over. There's time to be happy again. Don't get used to loneliness. Because love, even the simplest, is what gives meaning to all this. There are still many women out there who want exactly what you have to offer. Let yourself be. That's all. So I ask you, are you going to give yourself this chance? Or are you going to keep waiting for time to pass? If this conversation touched something inside you, leave a comment. Have you tried an app? Were you afraid? This is a space for men to men. No judgment. And send this video to that friend who keeps saying that love has passed him by. Maybe he just needs to hear this today. And hey, if you want to continue this conversation, there's another video right here. Click there, because I have more to tell you. You saw everything I told you here, right? The world has changed, but our hearts still want the same thing. Someone to share our lives with. And sometimes, when we least expect it, it's in a simple hi, in an unexpected conversation, that everything changes. What you can't do is stay still, thinking that the time for love has passed. Because it hasn't. So open your eyes, and your heart too. Maybe the next chapter of your story will begin today.